You read the title. How many times have you heard that before? Aw, people are soft nowadays. Aw, they couldn't handle how times were back then. Like, it is actually baffling just how many times people will point out and be like, yeah, people are like extremely soft nowadays. People won't like do anything. It's funny because there is a problem, right? There's obviously a problem with mostly just social media discourse, but you talk to people in real life, which I don't think a lot of these people do. And you realize that people aren't getting softer. It's just the way that we engage with people online has been forced to be softer. Here's the big quote of the video. People aren't softer. Advertisers are soft. That's the whole fucking problem. How many times you gone on YouTube and the person you're watching has to bleep out every curse word, if they curse at all? Or if they do curse, how many times do they gotta plug their Patreon and be like, hey, all the uncensored stuff is on my Patreon, go check it out. I can't put this on YouTube. And this isn't even that much of a problem with YouTube itself. It's mostly its advertisers. I think it's pretty obvious because, well, we all know what happened with the adpocalypse. At least some of us do. The thing is I don't think people know what that was or how that happened, which I'm not going to get into like the whole adpocalypse, but just know that ever since the adpocalypse, you're like the way you say stuff on YouTube and other platforms, mostly just YouTube. I'm pretty sure they don't give a shit on Twitter or X anymore, but on YouTube, you curse more than like once, you pretty much get demonetized. And this is not from personal experience because I'm not even monetized, but it's frustrating as someone who watches YouTube because you hear these people talking and you're like, this is not how people talk in real life. This sounds like a TV show. This is TV. That's what YouTube has turned into for a huge chunk of content. Not all of it, but a huge chunk of it has been turned into TV, which is funny because that's what YouTube has been going for years. Is they've been trying to get into that market with like Netflix, where people will be watching YouTube on TV so that they can play longer ads. People will watch for longer, more consistent watch time, whatever, right? And it's exhausting because now people can't talk like people anymore. And I think this is where people get that whole, oh, this generation is so soft now. Oh, they couldn't handle it. And cancel culture. Cancel culture is the most misunderstood thing I have seen. I'm exaggerating. I'm using some hyperbole there. But cancel culture is looked at as this like big boogeyman where if you say the wrong thing, your whole you're just going to get deplatformed. You're done. But who has gotten canceled? Can you name anybody? I'm sure there's a few people who have. But like a lot of people who are scared of getting canceled just are afraid of some like mythical boogeyman that's gonna come for them if they say like, I don't know, fuck in a video. They have this weird conception of what cancel culture is. And there is a problem with it because it was this whole thing where people wanted to, virtue signal and be like, oh yeah, this is bad. You can't say this. I'm a perfect person. You're terrible. We need to, get this guy's freedom of speech revoked. It's silly. It's goofy. That's all it is. Like, for instance, Kanye West. I think most of us could agree he probably should be canceled. And canceled in the sense that people just shouldn't listen to him. He shouldn't have as large of a platform to spew the type of stuff he's been saying. For years now, by the way. This isn't recent, obviously. This has been happening for years. And it's obviously affected his career, but that's also because he put out some pretty shit music. That's the funny thing. If Kanye West was putting out bangers still, he was putting out banger albums, nobody would care. Well, some people would, obviously. But like his career, the money he's making would barely see a dip. Sure, he lost out on some advertisers, which is the main problem. It all comes down to advertisers and what they allow you to say. That's been the whole issue with it ever since is that YouTube needs advertisers on its platform so that it can get paid and make money. Creators need money, and the only way they get it is through YouTube paying them AdSense or getting sponsors. And sponsors, ever since like 2017, has blown up. I dare you to try and find a video that has more than like 100,000 views that doesn't have a sponsor. Almost every single YouTube video on every channel has a sponsor. I mean, look at Honey. We saw how Honey worked out. That was being sponsored on basically the entire platform for years until it got exposed. It's wild how a lot of people just don't notice this, you know? It sounds like I'm just, bitching and ranting, which I pretty much am. But it is infuriating because the longer this goes on, the more people are just going to want to get off of the platform. They're not going to want to watch YouTube. There's only so much censorship that will be accepted by not only the viewer, but by the creator. At some point, somebody is going to be like, all right, this is bullshit. We're not going to just keep bowing down to these abstract rules about what you can and can't say and what will be paid for and what won't be paid for. It's turned it into a boss-employee relationship. It's the advertisers being like, hey, don't say that. Hey, if you say that, we're pulling most of your money. Your money is gone. Good, you're going to have to find a sponsor. And the funny thing is, sponsors are way more chill with it, it seems like. I have no idea, but it seems like sponsors are way more chill with what you can and can't say, the type of jokes you make. It's just weird. And then people blame YouTube for this whenever YouTube is just subservient to the advertisers. The advertisers tell YouTube what they will and will not have next to their ads, and then YouTube just enforces that through their policy. Alright, quick little edit here. YouTube is not without fault in this situation. YouTube does have problems with advertisers, like the inappropriate advertisements it puts in front of YouTube videos and the really weird stuff that you see whenever you go on the website. I'm not sure how bad it is currently, but I remember a time whenever it was really, really bad. You'd go on YouTube and you'd see like basically pornography in terms of advertisements. So yeah, YouTube is not like completely out of the picture here. I don't know, man. I'm not extremely educated on this. This is just my take on it. It's really annoying to see how many people will be like, oh, people are so soft nowadays. Oh, you can't say anything without getting canceled. It's like, dude, getting canceled is barely a real thing. We've known this for years, yet people still spew this. In 2026, people are still talking about cancel culture, bro. It's so goofy. It's silly. It's so silly. The biggest problem I find, though, is that I have no idea how you would combat this in a realistic way. You know, you can't just have a bunch of creators start cursing in videos and being like, yeah, fuck advertisers, dude, we don't need you, because that's pretty much financial suicide for a lot of creators who rely on YouTube ad revenue and sponsorships for their just income to live, to put food on the table. Which is why you've seen so many creators, especially smaller channels, basically have to kneel down and bow before the great almighty advertisers that run the platform and all the other platforms that's on there. Shoot, dude, we see it with TikTok now. We've seen it with TikTok for a few years now. People having to change what they're saying in their videos to make sure that TikTok doesn't take it down or remove it immediately. Everybody is terrified to have their financial security taken away. It's the same logic for why you don't lash out at customers if you're working a 9-to-5 job. Because you'd get fired and you need money. It's the same thing with YouTube. You don't cuss in videos because you need to make sure you get monetized so that you get money from it. And a lot of people put in a ton of work into their videos and they say two bad things, two bad words. They say shit and piss, and all of a sudden they're 80% of the revenue's gone. I just pulled that number out of my ass. It's probably something around there, but most of their revenue gone. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I see two outcomes for how for how this can turn out with the platform. The two outcomes are either the censorship stays how it's been for the next few years and nothing really changes, or it reverses. Maybe it probably won't reverse hard. It'll probably take years, probably over a decade at least, for a lot of this, censorship and the way advertisers have been not treating, just like enforcing policies, and how YouTube has been enforcing policies. Either that's going to go way back or it's going to stay the same. It's not going to get worse. There's no way it can get worse. Well, what else can they censor? Be like, oh, we don't want you to talk about I don't know, mental health. That's actually a big one too. Is that if you talk about, like, imagine if somebody was expressing their personal experience with suicide. Just saying that word, the word that just came out of my mouth, suicide, that gets a video demonetized. Literally. I'm not joking about that. You can, it's true. If you talk about that stuff, which is stuff that should be talked about because it is a serious topic and people need to express themselves about it, you are essentially getting punished for talking about it. Like, mental health is one of those things on YouTube where people have to really tiptoe around it. They gotta make sure that they don't say the wrong thing, that they don't talk about it too, deep. They don't get, too deep into the weeds about stuff. And I'm tired of watching people being forced to tiptoe a fine line between, being way too soft for their mature audience who expect them to talk about these mature topics because it is adults watching the video, not 7 or 6-year-old kids. Because guess what, YouTube? You have a kids app. We've known this. People have complained about this for years. YouTube has a kids app. And even so, whenever you upload a video, if you're unaware, whenever you upload a video, there's always an option that asks you, and it says, "Is this video made for kids?" For people who obviously aren't making videos for kids, they hit no. But you are basically still held to the same guidelines as if you were on kids YouTube. It's not the same. It's obviously more strict for kids YouTube. But even whenever you say this is not for kids, it still makes you do the dumbest shit. Like, you're not allowed to curse. You can't talk about mature topics. It seems like the whole fear is that if YouTube starts, going back on the censorship, that, problems are going to arise with things that should be censored and taken off the platform won't be. Which is funny because that is a problem right now. Despite all the censorship YouTube is putting on its platform and all the policies it's enforcing, there is so much content on the platform you can find to this day that should be removed and isn't. And despite all the policies, all the AI that they used, all this technology they've been putting money into, the platform still has so many problems. And now on top of it, people can't talk about stuff that should be allowed to talk about. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. If your moral of the story is say what you want, don't be afraid of some fake boogeyman coming after you at night and for talking about the wrong thing. It's not going to happen. You're totally fine. But obviously, if you're a creator, you gotta make money some way. So I don't blame creators for, bleeping out curse words or not cursing at all and trying to avoid these topics that they know is going to get their channel demonetized or even worse, taken down. People can get their channels removed. Just for talking about this with this video, I bet you I could get a strike, a channel strike. You only get 3 strikes and your channel's removed. I guarantee you this video could get a strike. And if it does, so be it. I don't give a shit, dude. It's not a huge deal. But yeah. So thank you for watching. That's about it. So yeah. I will see you later. Goodbye.